Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's
Can
fine.
you hear me? Yeah, that's fine.
Is there an echo now? So just quick sound check, just let me know whether this sounds okay. Sorry, I had to end the other stream and start this one, which is really annoying because I did the orientation wrong, and then when I flipped the phone, it was completely wrong, and you would have been watching me upright, which is not cool. I did a Pete, yes I did, Stock Car 2021. All good, Ian, yes we can hear you, no echo, that's good. Nice. I'll just wait for a few more people to come back on. It's annoying, I made all the effort to make that live thing like a day or two ago, and then I screwed it up, but never mind. So, yeah, we are back. I screwed up the orientation and then I pressed live, and then once you've gone live you can't change it back, which is a crazy one. Maybe if I use a different software. But yeah. Hello. Oh, so let's just get straight into it because I've got a big task today. I'm going to be building one of these. Just watching my screen, see how much of a delay there is. That's not too bad. I'm going to try and make basically that from that as quickly as I can to show you how I do it. I think I've got everything I need. So yeah, ask lots of questions as we go in. If I don't see a question, I don't answer it. Just ask it again and again until I see it, because if I'm concentrating on this quite a lot, I might miss that. But yeah, I think I've got everything to get going. So I'm going to be making a light tower, as I said. This is the piece of paper you get in your product. So for those of you that haven't made one of our products before, you can scan the QR code down here with your device for the instructions. That will take you to the instructions page. I'm just going to get that on my laptop. I know how to build this, but I'm going to have the instructions there anyway. And then on here, so you've got your product number here, and then just below that you've got your password. So I'm just going to put my password in. Yeah, I definitely blame Dougie for not being it. Okay, instructions. So I'm going to scroll down to number 80 because that's the product I'm making. Bosh. And type in the password. There we go, I've got the instructions for when I need them. So, first things first is we need to get some paint on this product. So, I'm going to decide my colour scheme, and then I'm going to show you how to quickly make one of these. It's a lot simpler and easier than maybe some people think. Obviously, yeah, I've got lots of experience. I've actually made 6 of these light towers in hotel rooms doing events in different places, because sometimes we will take it flat packed, maybe because I've gone abroad or whatever, and then I build it in the hotel room ready for the event the next day. So I've built quite a lot of these. What I normally do though is I'll spray all these pages and then, like, whilst they're still flat packed, and then take them so they're pre-painted, and then I can just build in the hotel room. So yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do basically the same as this. I've got this one is silver with red and black accents. I'm going to do this one with a little bit more red on, I reckon. So the main tower is going to be silver. I've got this red piece at the top here, but I think I might do some more red on the heads that stick out. So what I'm going to do to that, so I'm going to take these pieces out. So these little pieces go on the back of the lights. I want them to be red, so I need 4 of those out. 2, 3, and 4. And then I've got this red disc on top, you can see it there. I'm going to do the same on this one, so I'm going to find that piece. That's this one. And then I've got a black piece on there as well, so I'm going to do that one black. So I'm just getting a few of the pieces out that I want to be a different colour. I'm going to do the ladders red as well, because I like the ladders up the middle and I like them to stand out a little bit. So, missed anything? So who is ready for Hughesy's video in about just over 4 hours? Is it ready to go in 4 hours, Hughesy? Let's get the rest of these ladders. So just being very careful getting these pieces out. Most of them will just like fold out, as it were. If any of them don't feel like they're folding out, don't force them. And then you can just get a knife, but be very careful. Always cut away from you. And then just cut the little tabs off. 1, 2, 3. And that one just drops straight out as well. Okay, let's put those over there for a second. So I want to make all of these red, except for that piece. I'm going to leave that there. So what I quite often do is I get a scrap of wood. See, if you're at home, you can use a bit of cardboard or any like scraps of wood that come in your kit, and then get some of this masking tape. So I'm going to get a bit that's about as long as this bit of wood, upside down, and then I'm going to get 2 bits at the end, the other way around. So now what I've got is a piece of wood with a sticky bit in the middle. These bits are just holding that down, and then I can just put all of these on here, like so. So these 5 pieces you won't see the bottom of, so we can just spray the top of those and they're done. The ladders are going to need to be done on both sides, so we'll just stick those on there. But there you go. So I've got this perfectly good from when I'm spraying. I can, so really helpful. This one's going to be black, so I'll just do this over here. Another bit of tape. The video is now rendering, Hughesy says. Awesome. I think it's 8:30 this evening, Melbourne time, isn't it, Hughesy? Which I think, so that's about 4 hours from now, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30. That's about 11:30 UK time. So that's for the black one. Are there any more other coloured bits that I want to do? Nope. And then all of these like little node, like rivet plates, I'm going to do red. So I'm going to take the little signs out of there. Those over there. In fact, what I might do is do the motorsport can be dangerous sign in red as well. So I'm just going to put that on there as well. So then this is just ready to spray black. So I think I've got everything ready to spray. Let's have a look. I've got black, red, black, and then all of these are going to be silver. Now, we use this silver spray. We get it from Amazon. It's like $5.99 for the can. This can will literally spray, I reckon, easily 3 of these towers, maybe 4, with one of those. Really, really good paint. $5.99, and it's this like metallic-y silver stuff. It like spreads really well, so it gets all around without having to spray from like 18 different angles. The red I'm going to use, we talk about it quite a lot, is Army Painter. It's a primer. They do a whole range of coloured primers. So once I prime this red, that's the colour I want. And then it stays like a matte colour as well. You don't want it shiny. Or if you do want it shiny, you can just put some gloss lacquer over the top. But we use these colour primers all the time. So I'm going to be using that for the red. And I've got one of these in black over there ready. So I think I'm going to take you all outside to do the spraying. So yeah, let's do that. Come with me. Heading outside. Say hello to the horses. There we go. Hopefully my internet's good enough out here. So I'm just going to leave you with that view whilst I go get the pieces to spray. Okay, I'm back. So we do have a spray booth in the unit, but we wanted to do this in a way to show you how easy it is to do it yourself. One more thing I forgot. 1 second. Very important, PPE. Nice. So I'll try and talk whilst I'm wearing this. I'll take it off if I need to do a lot of talking. Okay, so with any spray paint, just want to make sure you shake it up lots. Take the lid off. So I'm going to do the red first. Okay, let's put this on. In fact, I'm going to take this off a second. So what I'm going to do with this is when I spray, I'm spraying around the edges. Let me just, so I'm like, rather than on top, if I spray all the edges first, by the time you've done that, most of the top will be covered anyway. So I'll show you, I'll put the mask on and I'll show you. Okay, so we're just giving the edges, doing all the edges around there. So you can see, I've started doing all the edges, but the spray, like the overspray is going on the top as well. So I'm saving a lot of paint because rather than doing all the top and then doing the sides, which will double do the top, I'm just doing the sides, which will do the top at the same time. So another layer. Okay, so that's the red done. It's going to need another coat in a minute, but it is nice and warm in England at the moment. It's already like 22 degrees and it's going to be 30 within a couple of hours. So I'm going to do the silver next. Okay, I'm literally just one, two, 3. Okay, so as you can see, they're going to need a couple of coats, but this one's already nearly dry. Several thin layers is better than like trying to get it all on thick in one go. Also, in a perfect world, if we had lots of time, I would actually prime these first. But it's the same process. Any color you want, just give it a spray, let the primer settle, and then do the silver. But as I don't want to be holding up your entire Saturday, I'm just going straight on with the silver. So I'm going to do a second coat now because that's how quickly they've dried. Da, 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 da. And then a second coat on the red. These need some red on as well, so this one's going to be black, as we talked about. I don't know if you can hear with my mask on, but I am talking. So again, round the sides. Got my thumb. I should really put gloves on. That's black already. Okay, let's do the reverse side. So we've done this side, it's already dry. Hopefully you can hear me, this is already dry. So I'm just going to do the back side now. There we go. So I'm just going to give that a minute or two to just dry that side, and I'm going to put one more last layer on that. But yeah, as you can see, I've nearly finished painting all the parts, and we're only, what are we, 20 minutes in with a bit of chat and a bit of faffing at the beginning. So yeah, it doesn't take long at all to get the paint on the parts. Oh, that's a big wasp. Let him go away. So I'm going to put my mask back on now. Just going to do the second layer of silver on the back of these, and I'm going to do one more layer of red on there just to make them a bit brighter. Done. There we go, all done. So I'm going to take you back inside, then I'll come back and bring all the bits of wood in and we'll start constructing. Let's go. Through the door. I'll have a look on the screen, see if there's any questions in a minute. Also, I didn't have my screen outside. So, we are back. Right, gonna get the stuff back in a minute. Right, I am back. All my pieces. Keep knocking this table, set myself up right by the leg. Okay. So yeah, remember, very important to put your mask on. Or PPE, I should have put gloves on, but I quite like, I'm always bad with gloves. I like to better feel what I'm doing. So let's put the red stuff over there. This one black piece can come off that. Let's put that over there for now. All my silver pieces, we'll put them there. So let's see if there's anything on there that I've missed. Am I just humming the Star Wars music? I did not notice that. Joe Selinsky. Who else is getting high off the fumes? Not me, because I had my mask on. Pete, send in some of those black gloves. I hate wearing gloves. I feel like you just don't. It's the same when I go scuba diving. No matter how cold it is, if I can get away with no gloves, I just hate them. I don't feel like I've got control of my equipment, like my BCD and all that sort of stuff. I just like, I don't know. It's weird. Right, so let's get cracking with making this. So, to start with, I'm gonna get most of the pieces I need to start with. Now, like I said, I've built quite a few of these over the years. So let's get all the main bits out that I'm gonna need to start with. Bosh. For later. So I'm gonna need the base. So that base. Oh no, which base am I gonna use? I'm gonna use that base. So the kit comes actually with two bases. Let me show you. So if you're really short on footprint space, I'm going to need that in a minute, you've got this little base, but if you've got plenty of room, it's better to use the bigger one for it so it's more stable. But both of those come in the kit, so if you've got less foot space, which is really cool. And then this bit goes on top of this and it gives a little bit of a cavity underneath for the wire to go out. So that's the base. We get the rest of these parts out. So how long do people think it's going to take me to finish this? Any guesses? Gosh, I know I'm going to need that piece. I know I'm going to need that piece and that piece. Don't need those bits till later. I'm all good with those. Okay, so I think I've got what I need to get started. So, new glue. Give that a shake. So if anybody used, we use Gorilla Super Glue Gel, but you've got to shake it up a lot. It like separates in there. And then even if you've left it on the side for 5 minutes, come back to it, give it a good shake. Cool, so first of all, we're gonna make the base. We're gonna stick these two parts together. Now with this super glue, it's actually less is more. Like, if you use too much, it takes too long to dry and then it can leak out the edges quite a lot. So it's literally just like less is more. Couple little tiny drops around there. And then let me just push that out. And the other great thing about this super glue gel is I've got like 20-30 seconds, like if not longer. It doesn't, like, unlike super glue that can sometimes go off straight, like almost straight away. And then there we go, that goes inside the etch markings and we've made the base. Okay, so these 4 main uprights, so you've got, they all link in together. So you've got 2 of them where the links are down and 2 of them where the links are up. They're also on the bottom, they are lettered. So this one's C, we're looking at A. So we're going to start with A, and then on the base it tells you exactly where A is going. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on here. Slightly mad slot cast, 15 minutes. 3/4 of an hour from Mark Petch. Complete in 47 minutes from now, says Husey. So what's that? That's about 20 past 8 my time. So I'm going to put A in, like so. Okay. And then I'm just going to get the instructions up as well, because I probably should do it in roughly the order the instructions say, because if you guys are all going to be making it as well. So yeah, that says put A in, and then it says put B in. So got B at the bottom here, so exactly the same. Bit of glue along the bottom, so just on all the contact points. So B's in there. Okay. And then, so these are the 3, like, what they call it, the levels for the guy when he wants to fix the light. He needs to climb up all the ladders and go inside. One of them's got nodes on the outside, which is this one. That's the piece I need now. And then you can see, right near the top of the tower, it'll only go in one way round because there's 2 nodes on this side and 1 on that side. So we're going to put that piece in. Bosh, 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 bosh. Bit of glue, just tiny little drops. And then that goes in there. And that goes in there, just like that. There we go. Just gonna let that dry for a second. So it is a little bit wonky at the moment until we get one of the other uprights in, and then it will start to like firm up, as it were. So a little sniff now to see if it's good. I hate going to bed with glue still on fingers. Yeah, definitely. There's lots of things you can use. Probably shouldn't say things, but like petrol's really good at getting stuff off your hands. You have a little bit of petrol on your hands, washing that. The other thing is Swafiga, which is like mechanics use it. It's got like little, what's it like? It's like grainy. It's like, so when you're rubbing it, it's like what's the word? I can't even say the word. The other thing that's really cool is dishwasher powder, like washing machine powder. Some of that with your normal soap, that makes it a bit like Swafiga, so it gives it like that graininess that really helps to get the stuff out your skin. So yeah, lots of ways to clean your hands. So, and then let's have a look at the instructions. It says, let's put piece C in. So it's quite simple, just following the steps along. So piece C is going to go in over the top of those into the base. And then there's also these like nodey bits here. So there's going to be lots of contact points. So I'm going to be putting glue all up the tower along this piece. And then on the piece itself, so these pieces have got like the rivets etched into them at the bottom. So they always want to be sticking outwards. And then I'm going to put a little bit of glue in where it's going to slide up on each other. And then see, if I look on the base, and push that down and on. There we go. There you go, and it's already now, it's nice and firm now, it's not so wobbly. I'm going to get all those in. There we go. Just going to hold that for 10 seconds. There we go, look, flying along. When you mix up your eye drops with your super glue, eyes wide shut. Yeah, don't do that. Oh, slot card 2021 says if you put a barrier cream on first, it helps. That's interesting. Like some sort of like hand cream, I guess. Does that make it like less likely to stick to your hands? Is that what you mean? Like we've got some like working hands like moisturizer cream for our hands. Working with all this wood all day can dry our hands out quite a lot, so we use that quite a lot. Okay, that's seeping on, I think. Okay, so now it says I need these 2 other shelf pieces, and I also need the 3 ladders. So, bosh. Okay, so you'll see in the base, I'll show you on this one. Let me cut that back on the screen. You see in the base there's 2 holes. These are for the bottom of the ladder to go in, like so. So there's the same on this one. So what the instructions are telling me to do is I'm going to get the next shelf, and then I'm going to put the ladder in the top. I'm not gluing this, I'm just sitting it in there. And then I'm going to put the base of the ladder into the base of the tower, and then glue in this level. So let's do that. Bosh. I don't know why I'm saying bosh all the time. I don't know where I got that word from. Okay. So that goes on there. Like so into those holes. And then that level perfectly goes in there. Like that. There we go. So the first ladder's in. The next like shelf is in just there. Which is really cool. Is the sound still okay? Let me know if the sound's still good. Okay, so then I guess the instructions is going to tell me to do a similar thing with the next one. Yeah, so the next one, this ladder goes in like so. Okay. And then I need to put some glue on the top of the ladder. And then we feed that into the 2 holes in the top of this shelf. Just like that, he says. My eyeballs. There we go. So we've got the second, oh, should have let that dry. 1 secondo. There we go. So I pushed up from underneath, which helped me push it up into the holes at the top there. So again, I'm just going to hold that for about 10 seconds, give that glue a chance to dry. Oh wow, Slot Card 2021 says his daughter once put nail varnish on her eyes thinking it was eyeshadow, ended up in hospital. That's not good. Okay, so that's the second ladder done. And then with the third ladder, the small one, we're going to do the same as what we did at the bottom. Just check that. So yeah, I'm going to put the ladder into these 2 holes here. Like so. In fact, I'm going to glue those in. Glue that in there. Give that about 10 seconds to dry. That will dry whilst I'm putting the spots around the edge of this shelf. And then that goes in that hole, and the shelf goes in at the top. Yeah, again, just going to hold that for 10 seconds. But there's your 3 ladders. So when the maintenance man comes in, he can climb up this ladder, around the corner, up this ladder, around the corner, up in the top. And then he's in the top section so he can fix your lights for you. Okay. I wonder if one of these clips is big enough. Almost. Let's give that a try. These clips are really useful. In fact, actually, I'm going to put small ones on here, like so. So these clips are just really cheap. You can get them from markets or Amazon, but really useful for model making. That's just going to let that dry for a second whilst I do the next step. So the next step, now, we're starting to get to the point where we're going to start doing the electrics. Do not let them scare you. They're simple as anything. Really, really simple. So the first step, you get your kit of all your electronics. This all comes with a kit. So your lights, your wires, your flashing LEDs. Super, super simple. But to start with, we just need the main bit of wire. Because whilst the carcass of the tower is open, we're going to feed this down through because it's much easier before we put the last piece on, then your access isn't anywhere near as good. So we're going to do that. Get my bit of wire. So down the right hand side, you see it there, there's like a rectangular hole, the same one all the way through and in the base. So we're just going to feed this down. Remember when we first released this light tower, probably a couple of years ago now, Travis built one. And he was the first person I saw. He actually like got a pipe, like a straw, and put that all the way down. I think he painted it black, and then put the straw all the way through, which is a really cool way of hiding the wire if you don't want it to be so visible. The other thing you can do if you really want to make it like invisible is you could just glue it right to the corner of this like tower on the inside, and then hand paint it like the colour of your tower, and then that will help disguise it as well. But yeah, we're through there. We're just going to get it through the bottom bit. It's probably the hardest bit. Just feeding it through is the hardest bit, which is cool. I've got big fat fingers, so there we go, all the way through. So I'm going to pull that through, but I'm going to leave probably about, I don't know, 15-20 centimetres at the top, and then there's a little gap there at the bottom. And again, you could get your hot glue gun, and you could like glue that down so it doesn't move. Depends on whether you're making a permanent setup or whether you're constantly moving them around like we are. We've got 3 or 4 of these that we take to events all the time. So that's what this will probably become, is another one of those. But yeah, so that wire is fed through, and then I think the instructions are going to tell me to put the last piece on. Yes, they do. Okay, so let's put this last piece on, same as the other side. This one's got D at the bottom, matches up with D on the base plate. Did you, so Jocelyn, he says, did you make a 3D maintenance figure yet? Well, we do have the guy who comes with the Reams leaderboard, or the Rooms leaderboard. He would be a really cool one for inside. He's like got his overalls on and stuff. Hopefully we will have a figure or 2 with a hard hat on soon. But I will let you know. But yeah, good question there, Joe. Okay, so I'm going to put some glue on here. And then some on the tower where it's going to meet and touch. How far in are we so far? It is... Oh, it's taken me 45 minutes so far. And that includes faffing around at the beginning, sorry about that. Okay, so lots of tiny, tiny drops of glue. I'm going to put the lid back on that. So outwards with the nodes. I'm going to feed that down. There we go. And that feeds onto there. Okay, so our tower is coming along really nicely now. We've got the main structure built. We've got the wire going through for the lights, which we're going to utilise in a bit. Yeah, cool. Slightly Mad says that'll be a mini Dougie. Yeah, it was. There should be a mini Dougie and a mini me. with a hard hat on. So yeah, proper like oversized people. Right. Okay, so this next bit we need to start making up the light. So I'm going to put this to one side, and now we need all of these parts. So I'm just going to knock these out really quickly. So this is a forehead light. We do exactly the same light, and it comes with 8 lights because on the top here you can actually choose where you put your light. So even with this 4-light version, you've got a choice of having the lights. You could have them all around one side if you needed, or you could have them like closer together or further apart. There's different options for that. So we do an 8-light version if you just want to completely fill it up and use up all of the 8 available slots. And then we also do a 6-light version where the tower is actually quite different. It's completely new, different structure. It's more triangular. And the 6 lights on that tower are actually adjustable, so you can move the light around a little bit if you need to. So I'm just probably going to take the most of the parts out of here whilst I'm doing it, then I can get rid of this spew. Oh, Scott Carl Wildman says he put his through a metal straw. That's a cool idea, actually. That's a very cool idea. I don't know what it's like around the rest of the world, but in England, like all the straws now are paper. You can't get plastic ones pretty much anymore. So on like Amazon and stuff like that, you can get metal straws that you're supposed to keep in your bag or whatnot and take around with you to help save the environment, which is a great idea. I just need to pop over there a second. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I am back. Got some water because it's already warming up in here, even though it's 10 to 8 in the morning. Scott Car Wildman says he is cleaning it. Knew it. No, I was just reloading the laser machines actually. Yeah, let's get all these parts out now. Don't need them all quite yet, but saves me coming back to them in a minute. Gosh, oh no, one more piece there. And then these bits. Gosh. See how easy the pieces come out? Really simple, most of them. Unless it looks like a fragile part, they should come out pretty easily. Okay, go, last couple. Cool, have any of you in the chat made one of these towers? What did you think about the build? Did you enjoy it? I know DG Raceway in Australia made like a video. No, it must be over a year ago now, like a step-by-step how he made it. So you may have watched that in the past as well. Right, so I've got to make these lights. So when you take these bits out of the spew, sometimes you do get little marks. where the spews held them on. So just a little bit of, you can use sandpaper, I like to use a little file. It's just knowing what's visible. So for example, this is the main bit of the light around here, so if you didn't rub that off, you would you'd see that quite easily. Other bits, like where this node goes into there, doesn't really matter. The only thing it might affect is if it's a really big bit of like fluff, then it might stop the piece going on underneath. But yeah, so just using that where needed. So we'll just do all of those quickly. A little bit of repetition. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is where these cool red bits come along. So these red bits go on the back of here. So see how that, like, just very simply by taking it out, painting it a different colour, just gives a little bit of accent to the light. So when people are looking at it from above, which we do as giants in our 1/32 scale world, we'll see that more than the little people will. But it's really cool. So I like to do that. So then give that glue another shake, 'cause it's been a while. We're going to glue all of these on. So dot. Is that coming out? There we go. Dot, 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 dot. Okay, and then on the back of there, it's etched the same shape as that red piece. Make sure you line up really nicely, because when you attach the light to the tower, these nodes go through those holes. If you haven't lined them up properly, they'll be a little bit tight. So let's do all 4 of those. I should have done some blue Peter really, shouldn't I? This is one I made earlier. But no, I wanted to show you it from start to beginning, just to show you how we do it, how simple it can be. Go down here. I do want lights, but haven't even finished my layout yet. Not sure I have the room for the light towers. Well, like I said, the small base is really small. What's that? It's about 12 centimeters square, and that's all the space it needs. It'll go on the inside of a Rad 1 if you're Scalextrics, and doesn't take up much space at all. And it really gives atmosphere to your racing. If you're like, you close the curtains, like on an evening, just have your track lights on, brings a whole new atmosphere to your racing. Okay, so that's those 4 done. Next thing I need to do is put all of these light shrouds onto each of these. So let's do that. Let's get rid of those big nodey bits where I took it off the sheet. So again, just a little bit of glue. Remember, less is more. Slot Car Wildman says Australian boys are 15 hours ahead of us. They should know winning lottery numbers. Yeah, absolutely. What are they? I promise I'll share it with you. Slot Car Wildman says I still have 3 to build. Is that the light towers or the smaller ones? Because we also do the smaller. You've probably seen them on our videos before, the 2 heads, the single heads, the adjustable heads. So that's 1 made. So B-Rad slot car circuit says temperature is below 80 now, feels like a win. So I'm not very good with Fahrenheit, we're Celsius. But on a hot day in England, you're normally talking mid to high 20 Celsius. Yesterday, today, and I think tomorrow as well, going up to 30. and 33 in places, which I know isn't a lot for some people in the world, but when you're in a country that doesn't get it very much, we don't have aircon everywhere, we have carpets, we don't have cold like floors, so yeah, it gets pretty hot, and we're in this is an old barn like converted into units, so it's pretty hot. Got the door wide open, got a big extractor fan on, it's 2 made, so yeah, pretty hot. There you go, 2 light towers and 1 adjustable, slot car says. Weather has been crazy everywhere, Joe says. Yes, our little office is over there, and we do have a small aircon machine in there. So when we're doing like computer work and stuff like that, it's more bearable. But the aircon is the machine's nowhere near good enough to do our whole unit. Let alone the new bit as well that's being built through there. But it's only a few days a year, so you can't grumble too much. I think it's going to rain again next week, so. Slightly Mad Slot Car says if we were anyway organised, we would have been building the light tower with it. And that's a great idea. We should do a build along. I should let you know, give you all a couple of weeks notice of what I'm going to build, and then we can all sit there and build it. But what would we do? Would we have to wait for everybody to keep up, or could we go along at our own pace? How would that work? Slot Car 21 says 34 degrees yesterday. Even touched 36 in London. Oh, there you go. I went and picked up my sister and nieces from central London yesterday. They just they live abroad. They're back for some holidays. They're teachers, and they were just out in Paris. And Paris has been having some extreme weather as well. 40 degrees, and then loads of rain and flooding. So yeah. Good job we don't live on Mars, eh? Be even hotter. Right, we're getting there, Right, so that's those 4 carcasses made. Let's see what the instructions tell me to do now. Okay, so the next thing to do is with these grates, we're going to put the 4 lights in to there. So these lights have sticky backs on them. So there's no glue needed. You don't actually have to use the sticky back because when we glue this into place, that will hold it in. I think was it Shane that said he doesn't use the sticky back in case he has to change the light panel at a future date. So yeah, maybe let's do that today. I've always stuck them in, but actually that is a great idea, Shane. So we're going to do that. Get the screen back on. Lucifer Raceway says the Swedish summer is the most beautiful day of the year. I was in Norway and Sweden and Denmark, that area, for 2 weeks back in April. Beautiful country, honestly, what a part of the world. Yeah, definitely going back. So right, so on the back of the little thing we just made, there's a hole, so we're going to feed the little plug through and then put the light in just like that, and then we get our little grate which is perfectly fits over the LEDs. We're going to put some glue around the edges of these. You saw me filing down the edges of these. These are going to glue to these shrady bits. I'm rubbish for words. So that's why I rubbed it down, because if it's not a flat edge, you're not going to get such good contact with the glue. There we go. So that's done. I'm just going to hold that a second for it to dry. In fact, can I put one of these on there? Is that big enough? Oh, the big one might be. Yeah, there we go. I'm just going to put that on there to dry whilst I do the next one. So just feeding that through. Ian, let's schedule a Firestone crossover build. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Who else would like to see me build a Firestone crossover building? If you like what you're seeing, which you probably don't forget to press that like button for me as well. Is my chat stopped? Right, done. Put that in. Again, I've got a couple more of these, so I'm just going to put my little clamp on. Go, next one. Yes, in 15 minutes in. Oh yeah, sure. I'll as soon as I finish this light tower, I'll get straight onto that Firestone bridge. I'm sure you're already sick of me, so I'm not going to put you through that. Okay, bit of glue. Okay, another clamp. Okay. So I've only got 3 of these clamps, so I'll have to take that one off once I get to that point. Let's do that. It's been a long time since I've made a Firestone crosswalk actually. That would be an interesting one. No, you're good, Ian. Relaxing as I sit here putting things together. Ian, you're doing a great job. Don't pay attention to all the kids. I'm not sick of you, Ian. Cheers. There we go. Put that one on there. So I'm going to steal this clamp off that one. Put that on there. Yeah, these clamps, like you get a packet of them of various sizes. I think the last pack I bought is literally like £5-6 and you get like 20 of them. They're so useful. It's like a second hand. Well, I've got 2 hands, so it's like a third and a fourth and a fifth hand, which is really helpful. So, next job, let's have a look at the instructions. Done that, done that. Okay. So, the next thing it tells me to do is get one of these. One of them says door on it, and it's got a B for base, I guess. It was a couple of years since I made that. Why did I make it a B? Don't know. Well, one's B, one's T. But I need the B. So we need the B. Now, like I said, that you can put these lights wherever you want. So a pair of these, I'll get the screen back on so I can see that I'm doing the right thing. A pair of these hold a light. On here, you've got, basically, you can put these like anywhere. So they can go there, like any of these 8 angles. So you could have like 2 there and 2 there, and then no 3 here. So you've got most of the light going forwards. Maybe you've got your tower in the back corner. You could have them like too close together there and too close together there, because maybe you want just more light there and there rather than more spread out. So you've got that option. What I'm going to go for today, I quite like this one where they come out the corners rather than being like 90 degrees and 90 degrees. I like them that way. So that's what I'm going to do with this one. So, so let's glue all of these on. Oh, that one. Bosh. And then you've got these 4 or 8 if you're making the 8 head piece. These 4 pieces that go on top to keep these stable. I'm going to put those on now, basically there. There we go. But as you can see, I've done 1, so I'm just going to do the other 3. Definitely getting warmer in here. Already. It's crazy. Bosh. So when I finish this tower, if I've got time and people are still around, I am going to do some very basic weathering to show you a few techniques that I've learned from Doug over the years. Doug's the more of the scenery and weathering guy. Obviously I do it, but Doug, like, if there's 2 jobs to do, Doug will do that and I'll do the other thing. But I've picked up lots of hints and tips off him after working with him for basically all my life. So I'm going to show you what I've learned from Doug, some very simple weathering techniques. And then if I've got time as well, I'm going to do the base as well. I don't know if any of you guys have noticed the spinning tower in the corner here. But that's got a really cool base on it, which Doug actually did that the other day for our event at the Silverstone Grand Prix. I asked him to do that for me. So I'm just going to try and replicate that as well. Again, if we've got time and we're not dragging on too much. So I am going to do a full lot for you. No sleep, I'm afraid, Chris and Joe. You're going to have to stay up all night, I'm afraid. It's the only way. Although I feel like I'm getting on quite well, so if anything, Joe Slinky should be making some videos on weathering and stuff. I've seen some of. Oh, put these in the wrong place. See, that's the good thing about the Super League, Joe. You've got a bit of time. Joe Slinky should be making some videos. If you've seen some of the work he posts on online, absolutely incredible. Some of these things, I'm doing a really rushed, quick job here to show you how if you're not massively into modelling, how quick and easy it can be. But if you are into modelling and you really like to take your time, you could probably spend 15-20 hours on this, doing it perfectly, getting lots of different colours in different places. As you can see, a lot of this is silver, but I could have done many different colours or had more red bits all over the place. So, yeah. Let's have a look. I've done that, done that, done that, done that, done that. Okay, so I'm going to leave this bit to dry, and we're going to get onto the electronics bit now, whilst that dries. So I'm going to bring this over. I am going to very super quickly go and load that machine. So I'll be back in a second. Okay, I am back. Okay, just checking the screen. We're all good. Rob Sales off. He says he'll catch up later. See you later. Probably gone already. I probably missed that. So I have got wire strippers. They're literally £10-15. I've had this pair for years and years and years. Makes jobs like this so much quicker and easier. So the end of the wire that comes out the bottom of the tower, I'm just going to use the wire strippers to take the end off. There we go. And then just going to twist the copper threads around. Okay, so the reason I've done this is shortly, once I've built this up a little bit, we're just going to test that all of the lights are working before we glue it all together. Because the last thing you want to do is put it all together and realise you haven't used the connector quite right. So I'm going to do the same with the other end of this. It's got tape on. So give that a strip. So when you're using these connectors, you can cut and solder if that's your thing, and that's probably the better way of doing it. It's neater. But for those of you that haven't got those skills in your locker and you just want to use these blocks, you do want to strip a good, well, that's about 15 mil, 20 mil at least. And And then when you push it in really far. You can like, when you push it in, you feel it like a bit of resistance, and you put a little bit more pressure on, you feel it go in further. That's what you've got to do to make them work. So I'm just cutting the end of this ready. Give that a little twist. Give that one a twist. Go. I'm just going to fold the end of that over a little bit to make it even wider. Because effectively inside here there's like a metal clamp. So the more you've got like available for that metal clamp to touch, the more likely it's going to work. Okay, we've got our 2 poles that we'll come to later. So basically these towers will work with anything up to 12 volts. So I've got one running this tower which I'm going to use to show you. They'll run off a 9-volt battery, which I'm going to be using for testing. It's just easier. But yeah, nothing more than 12 volt. So really simple. You've got 12 volt going into the positive and the negative on the side with 2, and then on this side it gives you then 4 banks to make your lights. So what we're going to do is we've got these little cables with plugs on. So these plugs go into the plug of the light unit. So we need to strip these down. So a good nice long straight bit there. These don't need twisting, they've actually got a little bit of solder on the end. So just going to bend those over. And I'm going to put that in. So red obviously goes into the red. So push it in a little bit further, and then we'll clamp that down. And then same with the black. The black goes into the blue. I don't know why they make them red and blue, but it doesn't really matter. There we go, that one's in. There we go. So then, if I put the red of this main wire into here, it's just so when we test in a minute, and then the black into there. Put that on there. So we've now got the plug there. If I plug this light unit in, again, making sure red and black line up when you plug them in. So just like that. And then I get my battery on this end. So red on positive. There we go. And you can see that's lit up. So we know that we've done this connection properly. So I'm just going to unconnect that for a second. I'm just going to do the same with the other 3 wires. But also with one of these, we've got the flashing red LED. So that's got to go with one of them into the same hole. You can put more than one in there, it's not a problem. So yeah, one of them we're just going to do that as well. So if I just crack on with that. Doug should get MR shaved into your head. Is Doug in the chat, is he? Oh, there he is. Me and the boys sat in at the hairdressers. Oh, that makes sense. If you're really committed, Doug, what I want to see is you and both of the boys with MR like put into your head. If anybody else would like to see that, press the like button. Right, so we've got another red. I'm gonna push that in, push it in really far. Put that down. Again. The black one into the blue, push it in, and then push it in a bit further. You can feel it. It's almost like there's a bit stopping it. So I'm gonna plug this light in, and then just test that to make sure that this wire is good. Again, if I just do it as I'm going along, much easier than trying to fault find later. Okay, so that one didn't come on. There we go, you can see that one coming on. Yeah, there we go. So we know number 2's good. Let's do number 3. And stripping off loads. Bending that over. Rightio, our turns, good job Ian. Don't try and get out of the MR in your head, Doug. I'm going to phone up all the barbers in Petersfield and find out which one you're in. I'm going to tell them to do it without you knowing. Right, that's number 3. Let's try that one. Oh, helps if I've got it so I can see it. There we go, that one's working as well. So then number 4, and we're going to be doing the flashing red LED as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm stripping the, oh, that black one cut. Let's just give that a little bit more. And then get the LED, do the same with the LED. Then all you need to do, if you just wrap the 2 reds together, so just twist them up. Again, if you're soldering, you can just solder all of this together, and then you'll have a definite good connection then. It will look neater as well, because you won't have this grey block in your tower. Although we've done a pretty good job at hiding it, I reckon. But yeah, personal preference. Go, twist that around. And put that in the last one. Push it all the way in, and then a little bit more, clamp. Push that in, and then a little bit more, clamp. So, plug in that light again. So this time, you should see the red flashing LED, and you should see the light come on. Let's have a look. Black. There you go, look, lights on, red LEDs flashing. They're not particularly bright because I'm using an old 9-volt battery, but it's perfect for testing, like I said. So, okay, so that is basically your light harness done. I'm going to unclip this side because it's actually this side that needs to go in. You go to the instructions. Like I said, I'm trying to do it like the instructions so it's easier for you to see. Okay, so we're going to get the light tower back in. That goes under there like this. We've got this piece here. So on this piece, remember it said door. So that goes on the door side, which is there. See the door? And we're going to feed up this wire through the middle. And then that sits on the top there. So we're going to put that on and glue it in place. So it's been a while, so give it a little shake. And then, actually, I need to get this on there because we want it to sit nice and strong. So we're going to get rid of these burr marks from where it came off the spew. Let's do that again. So door, line up the door with the door, so that's the front. Put the wire up through the middle. And then we need some glue. You'll see where it contacts. Okay, so we need glue along there. Glue along there. Glue along that side, glue along this side. And then, okay. There we go, so that's on, so let that dry. And then, so then this wire up here, we're going to connect to this. Okay, so black into blue, all the way in, then a little bit more. Squash, red into red, all the way in, then a little bit more. Again, I'm just going to retest that because I've taken that out. So if I just plug this light back in briefly, and put the battery on the other end. There we go, we've got our light, so that's all good. Just unplug that for a second. So if you haven't glued your cable, you can pull that down so it's nice and taut in there. There we go, just like that. So we've got our piece in there. If you have glued it, then what you probably want to do is like trim that bit of wire that's sticking out as short as you can, but because you can still stick it on. Now, these 4 pieces, these just glue on up here. These help to hide this piece and gives a bit more decoration. So I'm just going to stick those on. They just very simply just go into these 4 holes. 1, 2. Make sure those wires aren't in the way. Doug. Yeah, no, Doug has definitely gone away. So then this one. And then this one. Okay, what's next? Okay, so what I need to do now is start adding the lights, which is the exciting bit. You take these clamps off these ones now. So each of these wires runs a light. So I'm going to do this one first. I'm going to feed this wire through the hole where the light's going to go. I'm going to plug on the light, again making sure red goes to red, black goes to black. Pull this wire in, and then it's just going to go onto these 4 nodes here. So again, glue, give it a little shake. Bosh, 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 bosh. Nice and simple. That clips onto there, like so. It's pretty tight, so it doesn't need me to hold it. So that's number 1 done. Let's do number 2. So again, I get another one of these, feed it through the hole where the light's going to come from. Plug it in, red to red, black to black. Bosh. Go. Let's put that through there. That's number 2. That one's not quite so tight, so I'm just going to hold that for 10 or so seconds. Give the glue a chance to bite. Have a look. Anything in the chat? Are you falling asleep, Joe? You should go to bed. You can always rewatch this later. How was it? It must be, I think you said it was 1 a.m. I think, so when we started. So it's probably 2:30 in the morning. So yeah, get yourself to bed, mate. Okay, so red, black. And pull this through. Bit of glue on these 4 nodes. In. Yeah, that one's a little bit tight, so that will hold itself. And the last one, just feeding the wire through underneath, like in the middle of the structure there, just so it is nicely out of the way. Last light, wherever I put it. Oh, still in the clamp. Let's get rid of these clamps. Let's put that on. Okay, let's try and pull that through. There's lots of wires going on now, so where is it? That one. Okay, there we go. That one's nice and tight too, so I don't need to hold that one. Okay, next job. So before we start putting the top on, we just need to double check that it's all still working before we seal it up. Just put the lid back on the glue. Moment of truth, red on red, black on black. So working, 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 working. Red LED is flashing, so we're all good still. Okay. So we're gonna make the top piece. I'm gonna just push that over there briefly. So then this is the top piece with the T on. These are our coloured bits. So we are going to get the glue. So the red bit just goes on first. So this piece is basically the same as the bottom piece. What is the difference actually? Don't think there is much difference. I think it's just got the word door on it, so it helps you line it up the right way around. That goes on there, like so, with inside the etch markings. And then the black one goes on top of that. Yeah, just line up all the holes. There we go, very simple, like just those couple of little coloury bits, and you've got a little bit of gives it a bit of life. Is it life? Is that the right word? And then these are the bits that hold the LED. So I think that's the next thing we're gonna do. Yep, so just like the main structure, these like crimp into each other. So the ones with downward bits we put on first. 1 and 2. Again, these are if you've never built one of our kits before, it's just step by step. Literally, I'm probably on photo number 80 by now. Just following it, a bit like Lego really, except you just got to paint the parts. Go. And then the top piece goes on. That's got a bit of bit that needs rubbing off. That goes on there. There we go. So that is the top bit with the LED holder hole. So this is going to go on top. So the first thing I need to do is feed that LED up through the hole, up through that one. And then the kit comes with this little black LED holder. So you put that in on the LED. Let's put it on. So when you push this black LED holder into the hole, it squeezes it makes it hold the LED more. So once that's in, we just feed that in, push that down, make sure you press in the black bit and not the LED. There we go, perfect. And then we just got to glue this. I might stand up for this bit. So we're just going to put this on top of here. So plenty of glues around. Okay, so let's push that in there. Getting all the wires inside. And then it's just the opposite of when we put the other bit on. So that's on there. That one's on there. Wobble, that one's on there. There we go. So the top's on. Just going to hold that for 10-ish seconds. Cool, how far behind is this on the screen? Let me press live. Okay. Okay. Let me sit back down again. So effectively, if you wanted the simplest of towers, we're ready to go. The rest of the stuff that we're going to put on is basically just details. But we're going to add that now quickly anyway. But effectively, you add your power, your light tower's done, which is pretty cool. So in the kit, you get to choose, when you buy the kit from magneticracing.com, you do get to choose which 2 stickers you would like. If you buy it from any of our suppliers like Electric Dreams or Slot Car Union, they just have 2 random stickers in there. Normally a Mag Racing one and then 1 random other. So they go on the billboards, which will go on here. So we'll do that in a minute. Before I do that, actually, let's go back to the instructions. Done, 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 done. That one's done. Okay, so these 2 sticks, I haven't actually painted them, but I should have done. These are for making aerials in the top. So they go in the top here. So you can make them as big or as small as you want. That goes in there like that. So let's glue this in. I'm gonna chop these in half, I reckon. I'm gonna slightly different sizes. Again, it's your model, just make it how you want it. Like, you don't have to have the aerials. I quite like them. You could have 2 really big ones. You could do whatever you want with it, really. Sure. Like I said, it's your model. So I'm just going to glue these in. And that one goes in that side, like so. The other aerial goes in that side, like this. So I will hand paint these a bit later. Okay. So we've got the door. I'm going to put the door on closed. So I'm just going to rub the little nodes off these. If you're making a scene out of it and you have got a little figure that maybe works really nicely, you could have the door open and have the dude going through the door. But it's entirely up to you. So we'll put the door on. So sometimes I like to use that through there to help me get the door on. Stop me pushing it in too far. So that's on the bottom. There we go. So we put the door on. We've got this little motorsport can be dangerous sign. I'm going to put that above the door. So that's just going to go like that there. Make sure it's nice and straight. There we go. So if you are going to put both of your billboards on, what you've got to remember with this next step is these rivet plates, do not put them there and the same on the other side, because you then won't get the billboard on very well. So I'm just going to put a load of these on. Just going to push them out of the holder. Our football stadium lights are being changed to LED lights. Costs are over €1 million, but it's much brighter and cheaper in terms of power. Yeah, but how many electric bills are you going to have to like save to get your €1 million back? That is mental. Is my camera wonky? I think it's right. Okay, so glue. So these rivet plates, they just go on the middle of each of these sections. So there we go. I can put them all the way down this side because the billboards don't go on this side. So I'm just going to do that quickly for you. There's flashbacks of the light towers that I've made in hotel rooms over the last year. It's been quite funny, really. Just trying to not get super glue on the side where I should be doing my makeup, but I'm making towers. I swear, like, the people that tidy your room when they come in the next day, and I filled the bin up with modelling like waste, like all the spews and stuff. They're probably like, what's been going on in this hotel room? Gosh. Okay, I'm very conscious of time, so I'm not going to put all of these rivet plates on. I'm just going to do one more side, because I want to show you some of the other cool stuff. So just do these ones. So remember, if you're putting a billboard on these nodes here, do not put rivet plates on these two. Bosh, bosh, bosh. I don't know where I've got the word bosh from. I keep saying it at the moment. It's really annoying. Has your video finished rendering, Husey? Are you still there? What time do I need to make the product live on the website? Is it 8:30? I think it's 8:30. Okay, so that's some of the rivets done. So you can see that. So it's just adding more and more detail to that. I'll do the rest off camera later. Let's show you putting stickers on. So stickers are great. A lot of us have like in here it's really hot. If you've got your like track in your shed or your loft, the temperature can change quite a lot, which can affect stickers quite a lot. So to make them stick better, I've got some Elmer's glue, like prick stick. I actually picked this up in America, I think. I don't think you can get much Elmer's over here. Like prick stick, any sort of PVA, anything like that. Just really, really thin amount of glue on the surface you're going to put the sticker, and it will just make it last forever, like so much longer. So just nice thin layer of glue. If you're using like PVA, just honestly just a really, really thin layer. Just helps it like stick much, much better. Got some off the side there. Just run that finger down there, that one down there. And then with your sticker, just peel it off gently. Start on this corner. Got sticky fingers now. There we go. And then just like line up the two edges, the bottom and the left. And then just like run your fingers across, get all the air out, push it out, push it out, push all the air out. Okay. Okay. Perfect. So then, as you probably saw, or if you're building one of these of your own, we're going to stick it on this side. You've got these 4 nodes that stick out, so we're going to put some glue on those. And then also on these little 2 squares, because the board's going to touch that. There, along here, onto these nodes. And then we put the billboard on. Clips in. There we go. Is that clipped in? Yeah, that's clipped in. And just going to hold that for 10 seconds. There we go. And then, so if you buy a power supply from us, they're always supplied with this little thing that goes on the end of the power supply. You've got a little positive and negative there on there. So I'm just going to, little flathead screwdriver, open those up. Now the wires don't actually need to be very long for this. Actually, if they're too long, they stick out too much. So I'm going to trim these down with my trimmers. Sometimes, actually, I should say, sometimes we have wire that isn't so obviously red and black. Sometimes it's all black, and then on one of the black sides, it's got like writing every like 30 centimeters. So you can just treat that as your positive side. It doesn't really matter as long as you do the same all the way through. But yeah, we try and use this red and black, but sometimes our supplier sends us the other stuff. So put that in there. Okay, so there's our plug, and then if I unplug this one, Bosch, so Bosch again, and then we just plug your 12-volt power supply in, and you've got yourself a light tower. There you go, 1 hour and 40 minutes, and I've basically done the whole thing. Another 15-20 minutes just putting the rest of these node plates on and just finishing up, tidying it up here and there. But yeah, how easy was that? Light tower is done. What do you think? So I'm going to do some very basic weathering in a second. So I will be back with you in a second. 1 second. Okay, so there you go. Stock car Wildman has said awesome. I've just pulled out 1.8 light tower for the weekend. Good. Make sure you show us some pictures when you've done that one. Just jumped back in. UC stock car just jumped back in. Had to take my son to work. Working on Saturday sucks, says Bo Mamo. Slightly Mad Stock Car says WBUC. Oh, welcome back, UC. There we go. If I stay too long in sun, I will have my own light tower. Looking forward to seeing it completed, says Joe Selinsky. Right, let's do some very, very basic weathering. There are lots of different ways you can do this. I need one more thing from over there, and that'll be 30 seconds. Grab one of them. So I've got that, those. Okay, so there's lots and lots of different ways we can do some basic weathering. Let me just show you through some of them. Some of the products we use, some of the bits and pieces we use. Make a bit of space. Okay, so the obvious one is this Humbrol Rust Wash. We use this all the time, give it a good shake up. So it's basically like literally as it says, it's a wash that looks rusty. A tower like this, you're probably going to get rusty marks from all the joins, from the rivet plates, but anywhere where basically where the paint of the tower would have been maybe scratched when it was built, like through like when they're doing the ratchets up, that sort of stuff. So don't know how well you're going to see this, but I'm going to open up this rust wash. Got my paintbrush, so I'm just going to get some of that on there. Go. This probably needs a good mix up actually. Let me give that a shake with the yeah, there we go. Like most things, they separate and then you just got to like really like mix them back up again. Should have got some blue roll. Hey ho. Okay, so let's imagine you've got all of these like rivets down the bottom here. I'm just going to get some of this and just dab it near there and let the like with my paintbrush is a little bit wet. You'll see the water will dribble down a little bit. So I know the camera angle's not great here, but I'll try and show you. So, there we go. So that's the first step. I don't know if you can see that, hopefully you can. But what you want to then do is get something like a little bit of sponge or even just like a bit of kitchen roll or whatever, and just like run it down where you imagine where the rainwater would have rubbed it down. So we're going to run that down because it wants to be subtle. It doesn't want to be in your face. Like the best weathering out there, like it's really like it's not like these red bits that like stand out at you. That's what a company would do to make their company colours stick out. This is like rust that's got a bit rusty over time. So there we go. I've rubbed that down a bit now, and now it just looks a bit more rusty. Doing stuff like this, it's lots of layers. So you can use this. Another thing you can do if you don't have this is you could use just some paint. I've got here some burnt umber and some red leather. It's like rusty colours, like almost got a bit of red in it. So if you put a bit of paint in your little pot, it wants to be quite watery, so I'll donate some of my water, a little bit of that in there, and then mix that up. Give it like a real, like it's basically it's a wash. It's not a paint. It's like a. There we go. If you can see that in there, hopefully you can. It's a very rusty, sort of browny, reddy sort of like mixture there. And the good thing about using the paints is you can get like different tones and different colours. So I've got this like, what was it, red leather. So if I do the same over here, or just on some of these rivet plates, just put a bit too much on, so like that it runs down. Okay, I'm not being precise with this at all. Rust isn't precise. It's normally quite dirty and messy and horrible. So I'm putting that all around these, where these bolts are. And then again, I'm just gonna, that's it to start with. And then I'm just gonna get this this sponge, just rub it down. There we go. Don't worry, I've got some on the base, but like I said, I'm going to show you how to make the base shortly as well. So, like I said, lots and lots of layers. So that's that one. If I get the more browny coloured one, make some of that in the opposite corner of my palette. Just using a Chinese takeaway bowl, but I should really have a paint palette. A bit easier, a little bit of water, not too much. Just want to water it down a bit. I'm going to use the same paintbrush, doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter if they mix up a little bit. It's all about, like I said, it's all about getting different tones, different colours, mixing that up. So that's a much darker colour now. So on the same area, I'm just going to put some of this darker stuff on, and then it's going to help like layer up that rust. So it might be like you've got your old rust and your new rust. And again, with my sponge, just going to rub that down. There we go. We're starting to make the tower look like it's been there 20 years. Like the race course hasn't spent the money like repainting it silver every year. So the other things we can do is we've got these, what are they called? They're called pigments. So it's basically powder. Doug's got this one that he's got several different colours in. It's almost like women's makeup, you know, where they got different colours in here. So just using this nice big brush, getting some of this powder on the brush. I'll do this corner with this one, just getting some powders on there. The powder will just like go into any cracks or into the bolt holes, and it will just like almost like stain the surface a little bit, and then any overflow we can just push that back in there to save it for later. And then I can get this slightly different colour in this corner. It's the same thing. I'm just going to be putting that in there. You could, I suppose there's no reason why you couldn't just go outside and get some mud, some dried mud, like break it all up into a pot like this, and then use that like a powder. It's all like effectively what this stuff is. It's all natural stuff that's been, I suppose, sold to us in these little pots and called pigments. So there we go. So again, that one's a little bit more subtle. But I like it. It takes away the shininess of the silver, so that's quite good. Another thing you can do, so I've seen this before, is this Vallejo earth texture. Now this is great for the base, but it's also good for rust, because rust, when it's quite severe rust, can start to get quite bubbly and quite like textured, I suppose. So you could use, where's that little paintbrush gone? You could use a little bit of this stuff. I've got some on the paintbrush. Let's do the other corner. So I'm just going to put that on there where I imagine the rust would be, and then just rub it down, and it has a little bit of texture to it. It's really cool. So I'm going to put that on there. Again, it's all about experimenting. Just try these different things, put different layers on there, try and get as many different like tones and colours and stuff into it. Because if you look at real rust, you could probably identify like several, like probably 10, 15 different colours in there. So I put some of that on. Again, I'm just going to use the sponge again, just to rub it down a bit, just to make it like less intrusive, less powerful. But when you look at this nice and closely, I'll get that as close as I can to the camera. It's got like little bits of grit in it, so it looks a bit more natural, a bit more like the metal is like starting to like bubble and really starting to fall apart effectively. So yeah, that's some very basic weathering techniques. So I'm going to do a bit more over the rest of the tower briefly with this wash. just to show you, it doesn't have to be time consuming if you don't want it to be. Just here and there, just thinking a little bit of rust there. In the places where it's hard to reach, where they haven't been able to get their ladder to. There we go, a bit there, a bit there. Definitely off the back, like down the side of this billboard, definitely. I think this is one of the reasons why Doug and I really enjoyed making the zombie track, because like literally we did so much of this sort of stuff. It was quite wild, very wild setting. Like everything was old. Like everything we made, the people, the cars, the houses, like the gantries. We were really able to go to town with a lot of this weathering stuff. What I'll do is I will take some pictures of this and put them on social media, Facebook, Instagram, that sort of stuff, once I've finished. Some nice close-ups so you can see exactly what I've done. And then up the top here as well, these lights definitely would have rusted up the top here. That's where the most elements, most rain and the sun and all that sort of the snow would have got to. Wayno from Wilmo, but, how cool are these lights? Joe Salinki says, longer arms, Ian. I remember explaining to the wife, no longer an issue. Right, I need to get a bit of a sponge on some of this stuff before it dries too much. Like I said, it's subtle, it's not meant to be in your face. So this sponge really helps to like get that feeling. Really like lays it out a little bit. I guess it's like the lady's makeup. It wants to be subtle and pretty rather than in your face like a clown. Bit of a weird analogy. Hopefully I haven't offended anyone, but you know what I mean. Actually, I might try this rust stuff on these like they're like bamboo-y sort of poles. It's almost it might work like a bit of a varnish actually. I think I need to get some silver paint on these really, but just trying it out. Just it's what you do. Give it a go. If you don't like it, just paint over the top. Right, I think that's enough of that rust wash. A little bit of a Okay, and then I think I should put some more of these powders on as well. The good thing about doing the powder after this rust wash is there will be some like slight damp parts which will help some of this powder stay on even better than it would before. I definitely need to get like a multi-camera setup thing so I can get a close-up for maybe the next time I do something like this. If I do, would you like to see something like this again? The back of this billboard would definitely not be very clean, so let's get some. There we go. Right. So that's some, like I said, very basic weathering. I said I'm going to put some pictures on social media, but you can see the tower looks more like used now rather than clean and brand new. Which is, if what's that what you want for your track? If you want a clean brand new one, that's great. Then absolutely keep it like that. But yeah, that's what we're going for at the moment. Okay, so let's do the base. Something like that. So if I show you this one, really brings it alive. Like you've got like the little path going up to the gate, got some little plants and stuff, and then get this really simple. So I'm just going to show you that now as well. So what I need is a PVA pot. We've had this PVA pot for about 10 years, I think. Literally, we just keep refilling it. Amazing. So some of that. We need some green stuff. Let's go for one of them. Let's go for one of them. Destroying the place now. So I've got some different shades of green. I think I need what more, maybe some yellow grass actually as well. And then some of them. Some of that. What paintbrushes have I got? Okay. So, job number one. I'm going to steal this paintbrush. Is to effectively smother the base in PVA glue. So let's do that. So smother this PVA out. Wants to be like, I suppose I'd describe it as like a millimetre thick all the way around, ish. Just so you know that everything you put on there is got a little bit of glue to stick to. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, I put all the glue on, put that on their side, so I'm probably going to need some more in a minute. Let's put the screw back in there. I'm going to make a little path coming from the gate going outwards. So I've got these stones. Again, it doesn't have to be stones, it can just be a lighter colour of grass. I'm just going to use some of these stones on here. Put them on there like that. Push them in. Go. So we've got our pathway up to the gate. Nicely done. And then we're going to get some. Let's go some. Have we got any medium? Medium. Let's have a look. Here we go, this is a really cool one. So it's blended turf, so it's already got multiple colours in it. So let's scatter some of this. We're going to scatter this on the rest of the base, just to give like the base colour. Again, it depends on like your track. If you've got more of a deserty one, you might be going more sandy with this sort of thing. If it's not so green, if it's not so lush, you might want to have much more burnt grass. So it's just about making it whatever you want to make it blend in with your track. It might be that it's a concrete base. It might be that like you've got like your big oval, your big Daytona or whatever, and it's like a big concrete jungle. So you just want to like maybe go to town with some concrete effects. There we go. So okay, so that's the start. That's our base layer. We'll get a bit more over here. So there we go. So that was Woodland Scenics blended turf. I've got some different colours here to use in a minute and some different thicknesses. This stuff's really fine. This stuff's a lot thicker, like coarse. So we're going to be using that in a second. What I need to find is So, have you all used Woodland Scenic's, it's called scenery cement, to like seal what you're doing? It's basically watered down PVA glue. So that's all this is. It's probably less than 50% glue and then water. It's probably 60-40 water in a little spray bottle. And what this does is, it's actually a little tip for you as well. If you put a tiny drop of washing up liquid in there as well, like the smallest amount, it just helps the glue seep through everything onto the base and really holds things really well. You don't have to, but it's a really good way of getting it through. So from a distance, just giving this a spray. There we go. It's going to blow your stuff around, but it doesn't matter. We're just going to spray this up. And this is just basically going to seal everything in. It's like a... Okay. But particularly on these stones, so everything's going to look really wet to start with. This will take a while to dry. This bottle's been around a while, maybe I need a new one, but it's just going to literally, like as it says, it's scenery cement. It's just going to hold everything in place. But it's also going to allow us to put another layer on top. And everything's now soaking wet, which is good. So, nearly out of there. I should have filled it up before the video. I should have been prepared, shouldn't I? Let me make it a little bit more. So, like I said, I'm going to put some PVA in. And then I've got my drinking water. Let's pour that in there. There we go. Plenty of glue. Plenty of glue. Give that a good mix up. There we go. Cooking with gas now. Okay, so we've got that layer on there. So another thing I actually quite like to do is, if I get something over here, is a couple of little rocks. Just, and it's all just about being artistic, about doing what you want to do. So if I put a little bit of PVA on there. Get some of these rocks. You don't have to go out and buy bags of rocks. You can literally just go out to the street and find small rocks. Obviously a bag, if you want lots, it's useful. But it doesn't all have to cost money. It can just be literally stuff off the street. And then this one. So I'm going to put, this is like a much more, what do they call it? Yellow grass. I'm going to put this in a few places just to like take away the, like it being massively green. The blended turfness has some of this in it already. Just doing little spots of it, almost like burnt out grass, where like maybe the temperature at this track is like it is in England at the moment, and the grass has dried out. So just giving it a bit of, just breaking up that green colour, making, if you go out and look at a grass field, like even if you're watching professional golf, the PGA, and you look at their greens, the shades of green in that green, it's just like all over the place, like so many different colours. Like it's not natural to just be perfectly the same colour all the way across. Cool. So yeah, and then these tufts, these are really cool. We buy these in sheets. I think they're like £3 or £4 a sheet. You get loads on there, and you can just literally stick those on in place. You get all sorts of different colours. Put some of these by the rocks. Just thinking like where would that, like the weedy sort of like plants might maybe grow the most. Oh, way too many there. Stick that on there, like that. There we go. I think we should call it a day there. I think we've completed the tower. I've shown you how to do a little bit of basic weathering. I've shown you how to make the base really cool. And it's all taken basically 2 hours. So hopefully that's inspired you to not worry about the electronics. You saw how easy they were. Pretty much plug and play. And yeah, some very basic. I mean, like Doug is the master of this. So like, if I've managed to do this, you definitely can too. So yeah, anything on the chat before I go? Superbird glue is stronger. Where's that? Is that an Aussie glue? Wildman says, I didn't get any of this scenery stuff in my light kits. And Joe says, that's because Doug packed the box. Good. Well, I'm going to call it there because I know I've been rambling on for way too long, for a couple of hours now. So thank you very much for watching. If you want to see another one, let us know. Like I said, on social media this evening, once this is all dried properly, I'm going to put some nice close-up photos of it all. The only thing I'm going to do now off camera is put the rest of these rivet plates on. Not going to touch it at all, so you can see exactly what I've done in the time we had. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again soon. See you later, everyone. Bye.